loss. How does your takedown defense look in this one? How did it look? Kamaru Usman didn't get a single takedown, went 0 for 7. Pretty good, is what I would say. There was one takedown that Kamaru Usman got, but he could never establish any kind of control on the ground.
Winner by unanimous decision, DDP, Dricus Du Plessis.
Usman looks for the hook. Oh, good uppercut from Dricus again. And he ducks and shoots. Usman whiffs on the punches. Lands a shot there. Dricus covers well. He's good. Body shots from Usman. Oh, big right hook back from Dricus at the end. There you go. Usman had a little moment. There you go. Good for him. That's good little aura redemption there at the end to throw some shots. But yeah, Dricus beat the piss.
Kind of like a thumb punch in the eye early on, and that kind of blurred the vision a bit. But, you know, no excuses. It is what it is. It's pretty comfortable. Like I said, he's a big boy. And, you know, when you start seeing two of the big boys, and he's got kind of, like I said, it's a weird, rangy shots. So it's kind of a little delayed to get out of the way of those shots, you know, seeing them. But, you know, no excuses. It's tough to be on this side. I'm not used to being on this side. So, yeah, kind of sucks.
Do you feel better at 185, or are you happy to go back down to 170?
Like I said, it doesn't matter. I can make both. It's not 170 is a cut, but it's, at the end of the day, I'm not the biggest welterweight. So, you know, it is what it is. You deal with it. If there's opportunities there, I'm going to go there. If the opportunities up here, I'm going to stay here. So there's really it doesn't matter. You know, it sucks that I wasn't victorious tonight, because we're having a complete conversation, different conversation, had I went out and been able to execute the way that I wanted. So I guess this is my time of not being able to execute like I've done to most guys.
A great fight, you know, fighting a much bigger guy. And he's got a great chin. He's still got it. It's not like, it's like, oh, Usman's done and he should retire. He had a great fight tonight. So, yeah, I don't know. He's got to go home, rest, heal up, and figure out what's next.
Who do you think will be next against Strickland?
I don't think about that shit tonight. You know, he just fought a great fight, looked good, and you know, we'll go back to the lab on Tuesday and start kicking it around.
Kamaru Usman was visibly frustrated after his loss to Dricus Du Plessis, especially when it came to the judges' scorecards. While Usman accepted the result, he made it clear that he didn't agree with how wide the scoring was. In his view, the fight was far more competitive than the numbers suggested. His reaction immediately sparked debate across the MMA community, with many fans and analysts discussing whether the judges had accurately reflected what happened inside the octagon.
Yeah, it's you know, it's tough. It's hard to be on this side of it. And I'm not used to being on this side. I hate to even bring up hearing that score or dealing with the score, because that's one thing that I kind of pattern myself is I never care about the score because I'm dominating. Yeah, I didn't like it, but it is what it is. I just couldn't necessarily get going. He was big, strong, he's rangy, you know, so it was a little tough to get going. I took kind of like a thumb punch in the eye early on, and that kind of blurred the vision a bit, but you know, no excuses.
Dominates Kamaru Usman in a kind of sad but also very inspiring performance from Buck. Get into why in a second. We also had standout performances from Chase Hooper, great submission. Tommy McMillan, Tommy the American Gangster McMillan. We'll talk about those as well. But what just happened? UFC Fight Night Oklahoma City, the breakdown. Let's start with the main event. Might as well. Dricus Du Plessis versus Kamaru Usman at 185 pounds. Kamaru moving up after a legendary career at 170. Fought everybody, beat a lot of people. Both these men have beat the current middleweight champion of the world. That just shows you how much parity's in the UFC right now. Best can beat best on any given night. Dricus obviously coming off the loss to Khamzat Chimaev. A little bit of a layoff since then. Kamaru Usman coming off of another layoff, so a big win over Joaquin Buckley over a year ago now, I guess, or maybe a year to the day. No, over a year ago. Regardless, you knew this was going to be an uphill battle for Kamaru Usman. Dricus Du Plessis is a massive middleweight. He is only a 220-pound guy, and, you know, Obviously, coming off the Khamzat loss, there were going to be adjustments there. Usman's 39 years old, moving up from 170, and his main objective was to try to eliminate the standing back and forth, I would assume, from Dricus, or at least strike to get to grappling. None of which he was able to do tonight because Dricus was just as clumsy as he looks, as crazy as his strikes are, and as head scratching as some of the techniques look to people, they work. And then at some points, I do understand it. It looked like a great game plan tonight, but some of the stuff he does doesn't look like it should make any sense. He almost looks like he knows how to not fight, but also doesn't know and still does fight. It's a very interesting style. Again, it's Dricus Du Plessis. He's one of the best in the world. It's just his styles.
Before Dricus Du Plessis and Kamaru Usman finally stepped into the cage, the MMA world was divided over who would emerge victorious. Former champions, elite fighters, coaches, and analysts all offered confident predictions, each convinced they knew how the fight would unfold. Now that the result is official, many fans are revisiting those predictions to see who got it right. Among those backing Du Plessis was Islam Makhachev. Makhachev believed the champion held a clear advantage, although he understood why Usman chose to move up to middleweight. He questioned whether that strategy would be enough against a physically larger champion. While he acknowledged that a victory could have immediately pushed Usman into title contention, Makhachev ultimately felt Du Plessis' size, strength, and Usman's long-term knee issues would play a major role in deciding the fight.
Вопрос, как профессионалу. Камару Усман, Dricus Du Plessis завтра дерутся, кто выиграет?
Смотри, это что за Камару Усман хитрый ход, оказывается, сделал. Я-то думал, зачем он наверх перешел. Выигрывает он Ду Плесси, он становится контендером. Знаешь почему? Потому что он уже выигрывал Стрикленда. Из-за этого он решил рискнуть. Будет тяжелый бой, будет пытаться, я думаю, бороться. Ты когда это выскажешь?
Сегодня? Они завтра дерутся.
Ай, блин. Я думаю, через 5 Ду Плесси выиграет.
Ду Плесси?
Камару колени больные, бороться без остановки.
A similar prediction came from MMA Guru, who also favored Du Plessis heading into the contest. While he admitted that Du Plessis' performance against Khamzat Chimaev had raised some questions, he still believed the champion possessed too many advantages over the former welterweight king. MMA Guru argued that Usman would have had a much better chance if the fight had been scheduled for 3 rounds rather than 5. Over a full 25-minute championship fight, however, he expected the younger champion's pace, durability, and physicality to eventually become the deciding factors.
Still rooting for Dricus Du Plessis, and I think he beats Kamaru Usman here. I do. Now, there is, of course, going to be the narrative, and this is something that everyone's going to bring up when it comes to this matchup. Dricus Du Plessis got out-grappled by Khamzat Chimaev for 5 straight rounds. And he got held down by Khamzat Chimaev, and that's a big weakness in his game, and he can be out-grappled. Is Usman going to be able to out-grapple Dricus Du Plessis for 5 straight rounds? I would worry more for Dricus if this was a 3-round fight. Because I could see Usman securing 2. And then maybe the 3rd Dricus does well, but it's not enough type of thing, you know? But the fact that this is a 5-rounder, I don't think Usman's going to be able to survive 25 minutes in a cage fight with Dricus Du Plessis. That's what it comes down to. And I don't think he's going to submit Dricus. And I don't think he's going to KO Dricus Du Plessis.